size.
Okay.
You want to hold that or just set it over there?
Sure. That looks good.
GoPro? Like,
Yeah.
what? That's awesome. Okay, for you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
I forgot that the last meeting, and I was like, it's like not bringing you a resume when you go somewhere. So.
That's okay.
Nice to meet you guys.
You as well.
How's
What are good? I mean, it's Monday.
We're good there.
So maybe I'll just describe it and we can kind of see
Okay.
what you can do for me. I think the email was as best as I could type it out, but
Over
I
here.
sell bulk books
Yes.
by the pallet. And what I was telling Ashley is I don't actually touch them.
Right. The dropship.
There it is again. An angel got its wings.
Or somebody decorated for Christmas already, and a puppy just died.
Why not both?
All right. Well, the puppy got its wings. All right. Sorry.
So the first one, I already know my customer acquisition is zero because I
Okay.
ran a Craigslist ad and I got one.
Okay.
So now I'm willing to spend money on a funnel and Facebook ad campaign, something that automates as much of the process as
Yeah.
possible.
So you just end up with the final stuff you actually do without wasting all that time in between, basically.
If possible, because I talked to a guy about our software issue with inventory yesterday, and his head about exploded.
Oh, no.
I would love where the ad campaign website and the funnel together gives people who are already buyers an opportunity to do it,
Okay.
make the purchase, the emails and orders get sent and placed without anyone having to touch it,
Okay.
and then I offer a customer service liaison with either an info at, which I have set up on my domain, or my phone number. Basically, inside of that funnel, I already know my freight broker is perfectly fine if he receives an email with extra stuff in it.
Got you.
So to kind of simplify it, customer clicks on Facebook ad, hey, you want to buy bulk books for your Amazon business? Click, here's more information. Okay, go ahead and make your purchase, fill out this form, enter your credit card information, whatever. Click submit. That sends an email with the required information to my freight broker and places an order with the sales company, which I can do via email because they know me. So I think a couple of the things there would be the required info for my freight broker, which I have his form, so we would already know how we need to build that, and the from email, making that appear like it's coming from me
Yeah, that's easy enough to do.
to the sales company. I'm kind of like Ashley. She's like, it's not a matter of if, it's how.
Right.
And I'm
right.
like, you and I are the same.
Yeah.
So I was really excited because
It's
then I'm like,
interesting to work with her. Because
Yeah.
sometimes she'll be like, we're going to do this thing. And I'm like, how's that going to happen? And she's
Yeah.
like,
watch.
and then she does like 2 little things. And I'm like, that's why you own the company that I do. Like, I will do what you tell me to do. How about that? I'll come up with some ideas. You tell me how to make it happen.
Right.
And she's just like that. I'm in awe of her. She's 26.
I have a number in my head that I reach, and I'm going to go ahead and kill the project.
Okay.
But only because given my customer acquisition right now is 0, but I feel like this is going to add to it.
Right.
So where I've had one customer on the West Coast and multiple inquiries, which we can mine that data and potentially
Right.
market to those people.
Right.
That's something I might need your help gathering all the emails and phone numbers.
I have it all in a folder.
Sweet. So
Yeah, you can definitely automate emails and just keep firing it.
yeah, and that's something again as well I want to include in this, because basically, like I told her, this is nothing that her or I couldn't handle. I've got an uncalled for amount of experience in Facebook ads now because I couldn't afford to pay for them on the front end. And my budget turns out to be the minimum $5 a day, way too many times.
Right. Which is, you're right there.
I'm just like, can I get it lower? Because sometimes I just need results,
Right.
but I need to keep my money.
Right.
So when you told me that like the left and right limits, I'm like, that's something I can kind of chew on. I just wanted to make sure this was something that you guys can handle.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to have to be some kind of like Ashley, and I printed that out for her
Yeah.
and said, put your notes to the things that like I don't normally, are not in my wheelhouse. And then we sat and talked about what she had written down and what my thoughts were and what her thoughts were after talking to you, which was that other large email. It's definitely going to have to be a thing where I think you guys are going to have to come into the office, or you're going to have to come into the office and sit down and say, here's this portion, here's the steps to get there. Like, we need to start with this and monitor it for X amount, and then throw that in and monitor it for X amount. Because like you said, it's the how. If it's not done, if we're like, hey, yeah, let's just run you some ads. Let's just do that. It may not be exactly what you're looking for because you were doing that yourself. You know what I mean? So it may be finding some type of software that pulls those automated things so that once you're running the ads, the follow-ups for those, we can pull out the ones that are quality, their emails, their names, and then say, hey, these people interacted with such through, or we saw that they went on your website. These are the people you need to follow up with. So you're not combing through things.
Right.
So that you have, the emails going automated to whomever you need them to go to at the right time. And then you have the lists to follow up with, and we can even say, hey, here's the list. You want us to send automated emails to these people and just have them checked off. And then you guys are just like, yep, and everything's working, together like a wheel.
Yeah.
But we need to sit down with Ashley, I think, because she's the genius here that's, most like you, to actually sit and augment like a step 1, step 2, step 3, here's where this one comes in, here's where this one comes in.
Okay.
And that, I would say that meeting between the two of you with what needs to be accomplished would give you the exact price you're going to need. So what we do for people is say, hey, let's start out with a trial ad for this and a trial ad for that, and see if we're hitting the right spots with the information you've used and given us. And she's like, that would. But to give it a bigger budget and really narrow it down and give you like a spreadsheet with the quality content. Like, here we go, these people are the right ones. We've had attorneys. They want us to like dig and find people for them, and we're running ads, and we go in and we're like, okay, these people we went and looked at one of them was a grocery store bagger. Clearly not their target market, somehow got in there, so we go back and monitor it, we make sure it's the right people. So I think that's definitely a way to go, but I think sitting down with Ashley for like a planning session of exactly what needs to happen over the next, let's say 3 to 6 weeks, of when each of those things starts would probably be the best way to do this. Definitely ad funds. The way you were doing them, just narrow down to the actual clients you want and the actual customers you want. Because it's great, you'd have 10,000 people get on there, but maybe only one one's actually going to end up being a customer. If you can get 400 people and all of them are your ideal, you're going to turn more of those over than the other ones. So that's ours. Ours is like really getting into that. I mean, everything that you want to accomplish, we can do, but like you and Ashley both say, it's the how to get there. So that's definitely an in-depth plan.
It needs to be a different supplier.
Right.
Because if we're crossing lines, it looks like a conflict of interest.
Or it's confusing.
Yeah, or it's confusing.
You could probably do a doing business ad. That's not a hard thing to do.
I think I might need to do that for this project. So even, so when we run the Facebook ad, we're running it from an original page with whatever name we come up with. That would technically be a third company for this whole thing, but I think it might be a smart move just from a supply standpoint.
Right.
But this is essentially one supplier, one freight broker, 2 emails, one to each of them.
Okay.
Form, purchase, boom, it's done. If me or someone else has to step in for any part of it, that's fine. I would just prefer it's only in the case where they go from purchase to interest and decide to inquiry, like the info ad or the phone number.
Fair. To jump back real quick, so when we're looking at the getting our books from and then having them shipped off, are we also expecting to have a notification email sent to us afterwards saying, hey, this transaction happened? Because as of right now, I don't hear that happening.
Ask the question again. You said...
So we're wanting it to automate so that we don't have to put our hands in it. Are we going to get a notification that these automated transactions are happening? is my question.
Yes, you should. What'll happen is if it's automated to send out those 2 emails that, you know, filled out a form, here's the purchase, I would assume that it's 2 emails going out to 2 different people, but there would be a copy of each of those to you.
Yeah.
Because they're coming from you, so they're going to also be in your box.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
talking about
there's a way to go in and make
just
sure.
making sure that we're, because in my mind that still allows us, because if these transactions are happening without us knowing,
What's
a problem. Yeah, it's a problem.
No,
so.
it should be.
So as far as this one, I get a receipt every single time it's made, and he's been sending. I'm going to talk to him to reassure him that I like it, but he's been sending them once they're picked up. So what that tells me is if it doesn't get picked up, I don't have to worry about paying for something that I have to go back and recoup. And then they send me an invoice every time as soon as the order is placed. And there's potential hurdles in both of them, but I definitely see both of them. I just have to change the email address with both of them so it goes to where you and I can both see it.
Right.
Because right now it's going to my personal inbox.
We could even do, you know how you said the info at, you could do one that copies to like, you know, purchases at, or you know what I mean? So that you get, when these emails go out, that also drops in there for you, so you're seeing everything that comes in.
We have that, I just haven't changed it with my supplier.
Yeah, that would do that if we would connect them all together. Like, these 2 go out automated to 2 different people. And when those 2 go out automated to 2 different people, you're getting a copy of those put into the purchases, just so that you know that went through. And if you have, like, on the back end, somebody saying, you know, this was picked up and here's an invoice for this, then you know that's all happening because you have all your information on it.
I think one super important thing that you just made me think about is with this one, it's very important to set, for a buyer, it's very important to set exceptionally clear expectations on the actual product and eliminate special requests. Because many times what you'll find is a seller who wants to say, I want this BSR, I want this condition, I want this, that, and the third. And I not only don't have the ability to do that, but even if I personally had the agreement with the publisher, I still wouldn't be doing it, because you're talking about potentially 160,000 pounds of books on a monthly basis delivered to this warehouse, and they're sealed and they don't open them. They're shelved. So it's really easy to set that expectation with the customer. What hurdles, Christina, do you see on the front end? What things am I going to have to, or what could I possibly prepare for that conversation with Ashley?
I feel like some of that's just going to be this is what happens on like daylight savings with children and dogs. Yeah. It's just in case. Sometimes I get to work and I'm like, so I did. My guess would be that some of that, like the expectations, some of that's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Like we've done the same thing over the last year. We've grown in the last year more than she grew the company the first 3 years.
Nice.
I mean, obviously that's all her, but it was just her for like 2.5 years. And then it was like a couple salespeople in and out, but she was hiring really young people, and they were using it as a placeholder until they found a full-time job or a different job or whatever. And so she found out that her niche was hiring moms part-time. And she's like, I feel bad saying that, but we've hired some men, and they were okay, but they were always placeholding. And I said, not for nothing. And she says it all the time. She's like, I feel bad saying this, but it's millennials. She isn't. She's 26, but she is not. So there's 3 of us now that are moms who have kids school-aged that work 20 to 25 hours a week for her, and the team has grown, like the company has grown in a year, like you cannot believe. But we have, our retention rate has changed because of client expectations.
So this one, I am a little anxious to get off the ground, because now
I think this is the one that you need to sit down and figure out a system.
Because this is going to bring us our largest margin of profit.
Right.
Well, yes and
this
no.
could foreseeably after that.
That's where I got to talk to you from a sales standpoint, because I had that conversation with Thane, and he was giving me some ideas, and it's kind of a toss-up. So from the freight standpoint, because it's like there's potential here, or we can vary it. We can do like an all-in-one price, or we can do price plus shipping. So from a sales point, we got to discuss it. I feel
like getting this in order and having a
but
plan
there's
in
no
place.
loss. there's no loss at all if we do the flat rate. It's still a profit. It's just there's more of a profit if it's closer to my supplier than if it's further because of the shut. So
We can make some of those ad funnels target closer to your supplier.
But on a high 50-cent CPC, you know, if I take my total cost that I pay Abundant Marketing,
Right.
and my customer acquisition is what, $5 on the high end, worth it.
Right.
100%. So obviously my goal here is to not only gain a customer as quickly as possible, but do that repetitively, because once again, right now my cost is 0 and I have 1 actual customer. When I sink money into it and I start seeing that return.
And that's what we like to do. Because I'll ask, you know, we'll have like a mortgage broker and I'll be like, how are we doing for them? And she'll say, we got them 2 loans. And I will call them and I will say, you know, just wanted to let you know that I know that we had gotten you 2 loans. Does that cover your cost for the year for our marketing with profit for you? And they said, yep. And I said, well, that's our goal. Our goal is to figure out within, you know, 2 to 6 months how we can completely have your marketing paid for with the profit that we just turned for you.
And when you do that with this and it's fully automated, sold. Done.
Yep.
Done.
Well, I mean, it's going to be back and forth, trial and error, everybody figuring out how the pieces fall together the right way. But yeah, we're very, you know, hands-on with that kind of stuff. This would not be one of those, we'll tell you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning things. It'll be like, hey, I just thought of something because I saw something. Or you could say, hey, I thought of something, go take a look at this. And she'll be sitting there making a plan so that when she sends back, she has the information she looked at.
So
until everything is in place the way it needs to be, this is not considered a, we are only answering it at 9, 12, and 5. Once it's the way it's supposed to be, unless there's a major emergency, yes, we're only going to answer you at 9, 12, and 5. Unless you call, there's always somebody to answer the phone.
what are we looking at time frame? Do you want me to tell you what I already have in place for this? That way you guys can see.
I mean, yeah, you can. If you want to shoot it via email, I'm going to sit down with her probably for about an hour today and go over the exact, like, what needs to get worked on first, second, third.
And when you guys run Facebook ads, you use your ad manager and ad account, right?
No. We are put in as admin. So technically, yes.
Okay.
Like, we're also you. You know what I mean? So there's 2 of you now on your page. And we go in the back end and do that.
Okay, well, that's where I'm going to need something fixed. And I talked to her a little bit about it, but
yeah, she could fix it.
pretty much the number one thing I have set up is a page on my website moving towards it being a landing page, if you will. I don't have any ads created. If she, through this whole process, does see my ad account, have Kleenex nearby because it's a wreck. It's disgusting, but I've learned a ton.
I am sure she has seen it all.
There are literally some ads in there that I ran just so I could be like, how do you run a Facebook ad?
That's how you learn.
I got approved. I'm waiting on one to get approved right now.
Like, how many times have you watched a webinar just to learn like one thing you didn't know? Because they're not going to give you everything that they want you to pay them. I always say that too. If you get one thing from something that you tried, worth it.
Yeah. All right. Well,
easier said than done, right?
Cash money,
I couldn't even see my daughter, this was just last year. I didn't even have a dollar, this was just last year. Having problem after problem, nigga, this was just last year. This was just last year, oh, this was just last year. I couldn't even see my daughter, this was just last year. I didn't even have a dollar, this was just last year. Having problem after problem, nigga, this was just last year. This was just last year, oh, this was just last year. I came from rags to riches. Now I get bags to bitches. Why do I sag my britches? My pockets too fat, I can't lift them. I think about my baby every day. Lord, can you take this pain away? Had to move it with and make a way. I think about the K like every day. Dealing with a side baby mama. Losing jobs, I'm caught up in some drama. Devil on my back, don't need a moment. I've been praying, thinking God don't know me. Child support keep trying to fuck me over. Nobody ever even lift the shoulder. 23, but dog, I'm feeling no.